Am I live?
Yes, you're live.
All right, sweet. Hello, everybody. My name is David Derricott. Thanks for joining us today for our good presentation, kind of short and sweet presentation on MetaStock 17. We'll go over some of the nice features inside of MetaStock for those that are current users, and some nice features for people that are maybe looking at getting MetaStock as well. Plus, we'll go over different specials we have right now on our upgrades as well. First, I need to read our disclaimer that this demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using these specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software or any trading strategies or any information provided in connection with the company.
Hey, Dave.
Yep.
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry to interrupt your presentation, which so far is going great. You haven't started the GoToWebinar room.
Yes, I did. I broadcasted it. Oh, I think I was muted.
I don't even see it yet. So you currently visible and audible on GoToWebinar.
Yeah.
Excuse me, on YouTube, but not on GoToWebinar.
So, hang on a sec. It looks like I am.
Let me refresh it over here.
Hang on, let me pull.
Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and put up a standby screen. Just a moment, please. Sorry about that, folks. We're ready to go. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you so much.
So for those of you that already have purchased 17 or are looking to purchase, I'm going to talk about some new features within MetaStock 17. First off is going to be our QuoteCenter app. This is actually a lot better for managing your list. You can sort and organize based on the open, high, low, close, volume, percent change. We now can analyze options inside of MetaStock, so you can actually view the option change with the strike prices. If you use outside programs other than MetaStock, you can actually read the MetaStock data files and upload that data into other programs as well that do read MetaStock data. And then we've done a ton of usability enhancements, like automatic updates for symbol databases. You can delete your smart charts automatically. We're doing you have pre and post market data for real time. And then I'll talk to you about our Elliott Wave and Pring analysis. So first off, let's talk about the QuoteCenter app. This is a brand new tool, one of the PowerTools that's built into MetaStock. And I don't really want to go through all these little points right now. I want to just dive into MetaStock. It's kind of what I want to do. So let me minimize this. So for those of you that aren't current users of MetaStock, this is what we call our Power Console. This is where you do everything. It's where all the power tools are within MetaStock. This is how you open up your charts. And you can literally just click in here where it says enter instruments here, separated by space or comma. A lot of people get confused that they have to come over here and do an instrument search. So just kind of a little tip for all of you users out there. You don't have to come over here and do an instrument search. You really only need to do that if you're not sure what the symbol is, or if you know the symbol and it's not pulling up, maybe do a search here because the extension or the symbol may have changed. I mean, that's really the only time that I would really honestly use that. Other than that, if you know the symbol with the extension, I wouldn't even go to the instrument search. So like if you just type in like Apple or Google, and I can open as many as I want at a time. There is a limit of 100 charts to be able to open, but you can obviously not going to fill in 100 right here. So, you know, we'll do the IBM, we'll do SPY, we'll do the Diamond, we'll do the actual Dow Jones index itself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come down here and open the chart. Before I do that, I just want to explain this right side window first. Within MetaStock, you can actually load like default records that you want to specify. So in this case, I'm going to open up a daily chart with 5 years of data. Or I can load the maximum. So every chart will open up with, in this case, probably 30 plus years of data on the charts. It takes a little bit longer when you do it that way. Or I can just pick a specific exchange date and time. So it just kind of all depends on how you want to look at your charts with the date ranges and data loading. And over here you can change from daily. If you're on real time, you'll see the 1 minute, 5, 10, 30, etc. But if you are just using our end of day or DC version, It's just going to be the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. And then you can also customize it too. Not a lot of people know this. I had a lot of customers tell me, well, why don't you guys have 2-minute or 3-minute data? Well, you do. You just come down here under custom, change it from days to minutes, and then do the multiplier of, let's say you want to do a 3-minute chart, and you click OK. So now I'm going to open up a 3-minute chart. I just like to point that out because a lot of real-time users don't understand that custom part. So we'll go ahead and just click on Open Chart. And as you can tell, it opens up pretty quickly. That's one other thing that's nice with MetaStock 17. The load times are about 40% faster. They improve some of those things. Not much of a lag anymore. When in version 16 and also 15, you had a little bit of a lag where it would sometimes actually crash or not open at all. And so we fixed all those kinds of things inside of MetaStock 17. There are a lot of things that we did fix. Those, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So anyway, just kind of like for our new users out here, or maybe people that kind of want to get a refresher on MetaStock, whenever you want to come in here and apply or build your charts, maybe you want to put some, let's put the CCI indicator in there. You literally can just drag and drop indicators on the charts. You can either put it over the chart, price bars, or in this case, candlesticks, or I could just hover it over the title bar here and release my mouse and it'll open up a new window. Let's make the thickness of the indicator a little bigger for everybody. And then I can make my windows as big or small as I want. You just grab the title of it here, or the bottom part, and you can just scrunch it up there like that. So then the price the price candlesticks don't get squished. Let's go in and plot our MACD. You can just drag and drop that on the chart. And then you can choose your parameters over here if you want to change the signal line from 9 or 15 or whatever you want to do. Totally up to you how you want to go about that. We'll just plot it like that. And then kind of some usability here. A lot of people like to kind of save their charts the way they like them. So if every time I open up a chart, I want to make sure it opens up this way. You can seriously do that by just right-clicking, do Save as Default Template, replace existing, say yes. And now each time you open up a new chart, so in this case, let's go back to, let's do Amazon. Open up Amazon and it automatically plots those new indicators that I've applied to my default template. And then this is another thing that's nice with MetaStock 17. Let's say I want to make sure every chart that I've opened up this way will continue to open up that way. The thing with MetaStock, let me explain this really quickly, is when you open up a chart, so these other charts that I have open, the Dow, the Spider, Google, IBM, those are still going to be set on these, what they call smart charts, because it automatically remembers how they were opened last time. But if you want to reset those, all you have to do, let's go ahead and do File, and this is something I'll point out about MetaStock 17. You can actually close all your charts at once and not having to click on No, you don't want to save, or Yes, save. So I'm just going to do File, Close All, and that automatically closes them for me. And then, so let's go back to the Power Console, or actually, sorry, before then, I'm going to do File, and then Delete Smart Charts. And I want to actually show you how, I will here in a little bit, I'll show you how you actually had to do that in the past, just because I kind of want to do a little MetaStock demo for here right now. So then let's do the diamond and make sure that worked. So it looks like it popped open with my MACD, my CCI indicator, the thickness of my CCI, and my candlesticks plus volume. So that's the way I wanted it. So let's kind of show you how you can use that QuoteCenter app. This is really nice because it's kind of like your quote window, or like your quote line kind of thing. A lot of real-time users use that inside of our Zenith program. But let's just come over here, and this, just one point, this does actually work with both local data and also real-time or online data as well. So let's go to the North American region, and I'm going to open up, we'll just grab, I just want to grab an index here. Hang on just a moment. Here we go. Grab the NASDAQ, and we'll just check the box there. And then if I don't want to open every single one of these, I can just come down here and say, well, I don't want to open any of these ones right here. So I can just highlight those, do remove selected instruments, and then it takes those off of the list. And this is kind of like my preview before I open it up inside of QuoteCenter. This isn't QuoteCenter right here. So now we just click on Open QuoteCenter now. And just so you are aware, there is a limit of 600 symbols that can be loaded into QuoteCenter at any one time. So this is nice because this is a floating window. I'm only working off one screen right now. But if I had like 2 or 3 monitors, I could move it over to the one side and still have MetaStock. And the nice thing is with the QuoteCenter, I want to actually show you how I like to use this. So we'll just scroll down. So if I'm working off like 2 or 3 monitors, I could have this on my left side, and then I'll have MetaStock in the center one and whatnot. So if I want to actually open these, I can just come over here. Let's just open up Adobe. Just double click it, and you notice kind of in the background there, it automatically opened up Adobe, used my default template. So that's something that's actually really nice. And you can minimize it so you can come back to it. You don't have to close it to open up new charts and things like that. And then you can come over here and say you want to sort based on volume. Maybe you're an options trader and you want to look for those that have higher volumes, like Advanced Microsystem, AMD. So you would just come over here, double click it, and then go with your strategy. Maybe you want to plot some different indicators on here, and then you can start applying your experts, or it'll just automatically grab your default template. You don't have to do anything other than just double clicking to open the chart directly from QuoteCenter. And it helps a lot because you can actually work off different lists inside of QuoteCenter. So if I have a local data list or even a custom online data list, let's just go into there. So the last time I did some online demo here, I actually have this list called Dave's List. So if I just check that box, and let's say I want to open up everything but up to right here. So then I can remove those from the list. It doesn't remove it from the folder inside of your MetaStock. It just removes it from the list that you're going to open up right now. So then we'll just click on Open QuoteCenter. It tells me there's already a list open, so we want to say yes. I don't want to save the list, so I'll just say no in this case. But if I did want to save the list, it would definitely could do that too. And then it opened. Oh, whoops! Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. So I want to say there we go. Okay. All right. So now I've got my list that I have built in there, and then again I can just come over here and double click to open up the symbols. Let's open up Alexion. Already opened up Advanced Microsystems, or Amgen, excuse me. And then we'll go back and just minimize it and start working off our charts. So another thing inside of the QuoteCenter that's really nice, I think I touched on everything. Let me just double check to make sure. Going back to my...
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
If you don't mind taking a question, Steve Luciano wants to know the difference between the local and online data.
Local is data that you've downloaded to your computer. Inside of MetaStock, there's a downloader program that's found right up here. If you click the little box with the blue down arrow, what that does is it allows you to remove the data from our server and actually save it to your computer for faster scanning, back testing, opening up charts. It does only download end-of-day data, so if you're a real-time user, not a lot of real-time users do that unless they're doing like aftermarket scanning and stuff like that. But the custom online data list is basically every time you open up a symbol from that list inside of MetaStock or inside of QuoteCenter, it's all online, meaning that it's accessing our server to pull in the data for online use. So real-time users will always use like custom online data lists to make different list managers and then open those inside of QuoteCenter. That's the difference. So going back, I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I just want to make sure I covered everything inside of the QuoteCenter app here. Yeah, so, and you can actually, let me just come back over here. If you want to actually create and save different lists inside of the QuoteCenter app, let's say you just want to open up a new list inside here. You could manage a list or create a new one. So you just do new online instruments, call this list DD, and then right here I could just type in my list. I can just create it right here from this window. Best Buy, SPY, Dow, .ji.spx. And let's say I just follow those symbols. So now I do save, and then I can just open these up directly from here. And now if I want, I could actually, I've already saved that as a list, so I could just manage this however I want. Okay, well let's check out the Dow. Let's see what that's doing real quick. Do some spot checking and then move on to my next symbol. So it's just something that's so useful and a lot easier. You can really just set up like your own little quote list for faster viewing, and you can view the open, high, low, close volume. If you're in real time, you see the bid and the ask, net change and percent change, the time and everything like that. So Really useful tool. I really like this part. It's much easier for managing your list. And inside of MetaStock, it's still a great way to go into the custom list manager and create your own list in there. And then you can kind of flip through each charts individually if you like to do that. But if you want to see a list in kind of like a quote window, and this is something that our customers have been asking for a little while now. So now we're really excited that we're able to include that inside of MetaStock 17. So our next power tool that we put inside of MetaStock is our OptionScope. Brand new tool to help you analyze options data. Now, one little side note on this, if you have real time, you can analyze option data for any instrument. With end of day, it only works with US options, but with real time, if you're in Brazil and there are stocks that are optionable, you can look at those and it'll show you the put calls, the net change, bid, ask, implied volatility, open interest, volume. You can view the Greeks and everything like that as well. So let me show you how that one works. We'll go ahead and just close out QuoteCenter. Coming back to the Power Console, let me close out of my charts as well. Make it easier. Okay, so Power Console, come down here where it says OptionScope. And then this is where we can kind of filter everything. So here's all my US optionable stocks. If I want to do all of them, I want to select like all the ones that, I just select the list on which ones I want to open. Obviously this is like 4,000 of them, so probably not the best list to open. I want to do a different one here. Let's just do, let's do the let's do the NASDAQ, sorry. Do NASDAQ 100. Okay, so then you can do, sorry, hang on just a second. Let's just do American Airlines. No, that's fine. Okay, so then over here you can do your filters and apply those. You can do expiration today, which most people probably aren't going to do that, or expires in the next 7 days or 30 days or 90. I'm just going to do the next 365 and then I'll filter it down, show you how you can do that inside of OptionScope. We'll keep the strike price within 15% and expiration date or expiration type. I'm just going to keep it as all so I can show you how you can filter once it's open. So then you just click on open in OptionScope and it takes it a minute to load in there. And then you can see the different colors in there. All that means is which ones are in and out of the money. And you can sort by that as well. So down over here on this left side, this is where I can filter down farther. So let's say I want to look at an expiration date of December 20th instead of all of them. So that'll filter my list way down. And then we'll go strike price. We'll just leave that at what it's at. Expiration filters, let's do weekly. Actually, I think I needed to do, monthly. Yeah, I need to keep it at monthly. Otherwise, it's not going to give me anything. And then you can say which ones are in and out of the money, and then you can look at the Greeks. All this one basically does is just identify the row one. So if you want to look at that, it's more based on like dividend yields and things like that. The two Greeks that you really want to pay attention to as an options trader is Delta and Theta. Those are the ones that really affect the price and how much the price is going to go up. If you have, X price of an option, if it goes up a certain amount, then that's how much you would make off an option or lose off an option depending on the side that it goes. But here's all your calls, and then on the right side you have all your put symbols, and then like I said, with this you've got bid, ask, all the Greeks, open interest, which is the OI, IV is implied volatility, and obviously volume, you already know what that is. So what's nice with this, you can also rank based on that. So you want to look for ones that have a high open interest and volume, and then you go in and want to open those ones up. So let's grab this one right here. And this is the other thing that's really nice with OptionScope is you can double click and it'll open it inside of MetaStock. Obviously, a lot of times you're not going to plot indicators on here, but it's really nice that you have the ability to open these inside of MetaStock as well. A lot of people, when they're trading options on this, they like to view this as a line instead of a candlestick, but you can view it in any type of chart that you want. But the other thing that's really nice with this is you can come over here, let's come back over to OptionScope, and let's say you want to save these in a list. You just copy them to your clipboard, and then come back over to MetaStock, go to chart, or actually I could have done it from here. And then you can do custom online or custom list, do new online list, and then I just click in this white space area and do paste. and do save that list. And now that is actually a list that I can, if I want, I can come back over here and say, oh, I want to open this up in QuoteCenter. Okay, open this up in QuoteCenter. And then it shows me all the options in there. So then I can sort it by open, high, low, close, last bid, ask, whatever I want to do, open interest. Just really whatever you want to do. That's what's kind of really nice with that OptionScope program. And it's just a really good way to really analyze your options and really know where the options are going. If you need to put in a put or a call, and you can identify the Greeks and everything like that. So it's just a really nice feature inside of MetaStock 17. If you've bought 17 and trade options, that is a great tool. And if you're looking to purchase MetaStock 17 or MetaStock in general and you trade options, that is really a really powerful tool inside of the software. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's just hit the next part of my PowerPoint, making sure we covered all this. Looks like I did. So now for real time, guys, this is something that's going to be really useful. Let me actually delete this chart off. And let's just go, we'll open up the diamond again. So if you want to actually, you can now view pre and post market data. And the way you get there, you just right click on your chart, do chart window properties, come over here to trading sessions. And now there's this little click box that you can use 24-hour trading sessions or also include pre and post market data. So if I click on that and click OK, now it actually loads the pre and the post market data for me. Which is really nice as well. A lot of people have been asking for that too. But again, that is only going to be useful, and only real-time users would want to use that anyway. So something really nice. So this is our user enhancement request. Had a lot of requests over the between version 16 and MetaStock 17 that a lot of people wanted to kind of have the Power Console reading easier and more clear, the ability to back up your user files. Let me just kind of show you how all that works. So inside of MetaStock, when you come over to this expert advisor, let's say you want to plot, for example, if you were an older user of MetaStock, before you had these little Equus and then the name of it. So like Equus MACD, Equus Bollinger Bands, and they're really like kind of teaching systems to help you kind of learn more about MetaStock and the market and how to trade with them. Well, now what we did, we just call them Bollinger Bands by MetaStock, or if you want to use the Turtle Trader by MetaStock, or MACD. You can just do MACD by MetaStock. So a lot easier to read. They're all alphabetized, so you don't have to go, well, what's Equus? What's this? So it's a lot easier for everybody to read those now. The ability to quickly back up your files. If you're moving computers or you're getting a new computer, want to make sure your files are saved, you just do File, Backup User Files. It creates a file that you can put on a thumb drive if you're transferring your information to a new computer, or you're installing because you're getting a different computer, then that's the best way to go about it. It's just a lot easier and faster. And then the ability to clear out your smart charts. So this is where I wanted to show this. Before, you had to go over here to File Explorer, you had to go to Windows, Users, let's see, I think it's probably this, and then you had to go to App Data, Local, Thomson Reuters, MetaStock, 17, Data on Demand Cache, and you had to delete this folder. So now all you do is just do File, delete Smart Charts, say yes. Oh, I have to have this closed. Sorry. File, delete Smart Charts, say yes, and Smart Charts are now deleted just by clicking a couple times. So that's a lot easier for you. The other thing is when we do a symbol update, every first Friday of the month we release a new symbol database update for companies that have been delisted, new IPOs, maybe companies that merged or changed from one exchange to another one, those kinds of things. Those are automatically updated. The first Friday of each month, you'll just see this message that'll come up and say your data files have been updated, and that you don't have to do anything. Before, you had to go to the website and click on a link to run those. So a lot easier to do that now. Faster load times, as you notice, MetaStock popped open pretty quickly with its charts, and even when you're starting it in the first place as well, it's a lot faster, probably about 40% faster load times. The symbol search is a lot. The other thing is it actually remembers everything that you had open. So let's open up a couple symbols and I'll show you what I mean. Oops. Okay. Let's open up a couple other charts here. We'll do the SPY, IBM, Google, Okay, so then I'm just going to close MetaStock. And now when I go back to open it, it'll just automatically remember where I left off, and I don't have to go back and open up my charts again or apply my indicators. It'll just automatically remember everything. So that's something that's a lot more user-friendly to really help you kind of save your work and not have to worry about losing it, because it'll just automatically remember what you had open last time. I'm just reopening it here. Oh, so it's already open. As you notice, the load time came up a lot quicker. Didn't actually close. Oh, I had those as templates, that's why. So like if I had different charts open and with my indicators, it would actually remember those. I had that as a template, so I must have done something wrong. So, but anyway, that does actually get saved for you, so you don't have to keep redoing all of your work. And then, so a lot of times inside of MetaStock are people that use the Explorer a lot, and I use this a lot as well. Before, when you ran explorations, you had to kind of come over here and right-click and do report, or if you had like favorite explorations that you had saved, you could do view all reports, but then you have to go through one individually. So now, if you have one checked and you had ran a report on it before, now you can just come over here and click report, and it'll open up. But you do have to have it checked, as you noticed. It's not going to pop anything in there until you tell it what you want to look at. So that's something that's really nice as well. Just overall, like, easier to use. The Power Console is always going to be your main go-to, basically, console. But everything that we've added in here really made it a lot more user-friendly. Editing of data inside the downloader is a lot faster and easier. But what I kind of want to get to, since we're a little short on time, is the 2 new add-ons that we've put inside of MetaStock. So this is just kind of showing you quick slides here real quick on the different enhancements that we've done. Deleting smart charts, no to all. So when you have a bunch of charts open, it'll ask if you want to close all of them at the same time. If you do, then you just say no to all, or just no to each one individually, however you want to do it. Like I said, easier to find formulas where it's just MACD by MetaStock or Turtle Trader by MetaStock. Easier access to explorations, I just talked about that. And then you can just view the reports right there as well. So I already talked about the QuoteCenter, easier to build and manage lists. So what I want to touch on now is we used to sell an add-on called Elliott Waves, and this is actually something that's been a request from a lot of customers. You know, why don't we have Elliott Waves? And it is kind of silly that we don't. But so now, and the reason why we didn't is because we had a partner that created an add-on with us, and so just to protect kind of his copyright, we didn't put Elliott Waves in the program. But you know, he since has retired and no longer is a partner of ours, so we were able to adapt his system into MetaStock 17, and we also simplified it as well. But for those of you that don't know or use Elliott Waves, I don't use them a ton, so I'm going to do my best to explain how they all work. But they're basically looking and using cycle analysis as well. For those of you that have trade and use cycles, this is a great little add-on. It's great for day trading, swing trading, position, long-term investing. But the Elliott Wave is actually based on a person named Ralph Nelson Elliott, or R.N. Elliott is how he went by. He was a accountant in the 18 to 1900s, and he basically studied the stock market and predicted how far up the Dow would actually go. So there's a nice little read-up on the Wikipedia page, but there's also another book called The Elliott Wave Theory. It was written by two different authors that are very, very knowledgeable on the Elliott Wave principle. But it's a really good read, and it really kind of helped me understand how Elliott Waves work. But there's 2 different types of waves. I'll just kind of go through this. I wanted to touch on this first. So, I mean, you're going to use Elliott Waves to identify the cycles using market psychology. And that breaks down the waves to kind of show you the different characteristics in the market. But it breaks it down to 8 different types of waves, and they're not to be confused with patterns. They're completely different types of trading styles. It's not a pattern like a bar pattern or a candlestick pattern or anything like that. These are all based on cycles and market psychology. So first off, you know, what is a wave? Well, it's when you have those different peaks and troughs. So market goes up and then it recorrects itself. Market goes up and down. So that's what he identifies as different waves. Wave 1 breaks up and then hits down to wave 2. And then wave 3 breaks up, goes down to wave 4. So like I was mentioning, there's two different types of waves. You've got your motive waves and your corrective waves. Motive waves are the ones that push the market. So those are the 1, 3s, and 5s. Going back to my my PowerPoint here. So the 1s, the 3s, and the 5s are all the motive waves. The 2s and the 4s are the corrective, excuse me. And so the 1, 3s, and 5s affect the direction. The 2s and 4s are the interruption waves. So that's kind of how I showed on that example. But let's actually open this up inside of MetaStock so I can get a better example for everybody. So you can access this directly from the Power Console, just to, so you know you don't have to have a chart open and then right-click and apply the template. You just come down here where it has Elliott Waves. So one I like to use the most is just the Elliott Wave Advanced. All these other ones are all talking about like volatility with support and resistance on the chart. Actually, we'll just do Elliott Waves Advanced. So then we'll do Open Chart. And as you can tell, this chart's a little faint. I'll zoom in a little bit. It automatically is plotting the Elliott Waves on here. So if you also want to open up the commentary window, then we'll right click and do commentary. And it'll take it a second to open because it's doing all these background calculations. The one thing with Elliott Waves, you're noticing that I'm getting an error executing, or error function did not return values because I don't have enough data loaded. So with Elliott Waves, you always want to probably just load max data. So we'll just go ahead and do that, and then it should fix the problem. Just waiting for that to refresh. Okay, so yeah, that's disappeared. So, I mean, what's really nice with this commentary window is it just puts everything in there, lays everything out. Again, if I'm not an Elliott Wave trader, I just like to explain this because we have a lot of customers that really like Elliott Waves. But it just kind of helps you with like the amplitude, you know, the fast wave, which basically means it has a shorter distance to travel in order for it to complete the wave. So the fast one is going to be the 8%, the moderate or intermediate's 13% bullish wave, and it tells you if they're bullish or bearish waves. Right now, the normal and the slow are unidentified because those are your longer term waves. But there are other templates if you want to kind of play around with that as well. When you right click on the chart and do apply template, you can come down here to Elliott Wave. Let's try the high volatility one because I want to actually point something out here. So let's see here. Oh, this one doesn't have the signals on it. That's right. Let's do low volatility. I want to get the right one so I can give you a good example. Okay, here's a better example. So inside of Elliott Wave, you'll see these kind of really bright ones, or I should say solid ones right here, right there. Then you have one right here. Those are like your very longer term motive waves. So coming back to the PowerPoint here, those are the ones that are really affecting the direction, and the other two are interruption waves. And then you have the counter trend waves, which is when you have pullbacks or reversal waves. That's what those are. And those are labeled ABC instead of the 1 through 5. So you see on the chart you've got a 1. So this basically is the longer term wave. So you'll have a 1, and then if I scroll over here, there'll be like a 2, and it hasn't even completed that wave yet. That's how long term they are. These are basically months and year waves. So, and then you have waves within waves. So those are your very, very long-term waves. Those are your slowing waves. And then you've got these, if you kind of see on the chart, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. You've got these A's and B's and C's. So these are your corrective waves. A, B, C. And then also as this is where I talk about the waves within waves, you've got also a number 4. So that's probably over here where you had 3 right here, and then it reached a 4. Then you have your Roman numeral waves. So there's just, again, it can get a little confusing if you're not an Elliott Waves analysis person, but it's a great little add-on. You can also scan based on the Elliott Waves too. If I come over to our Power Console, come down here to Elliott Waves, and you can scan based on the fast. Let me kind of explain that. So when I say fast, that just means it has a shorter distance to travel. Like if you have a 1 right here in this area of the chart and 2's right here, that would be a fast wave. If you want to scan for those shorter type trends and trade opportunities, and that's the one you want to scan for. If you want to get a little more immediate, longer term, where it takes a lot more distance to travel to complete its wave, then that's probably the one you'd want to do. A lot of people like to use the fast. Again, it's totally up to you. You can use whichever one you want. But let's come over here and run a scan. I'm just going to do, we'll just run this one. And this is going to be, I think this is local data, so it's going to be a little bit outdated, but it takes a little while to scan, so I just want to show you what the report window looks like, and then we'll move on to our next little add-on. So this kind of brings up a point with one of the questions that somebody had on YouTube, that what's the difference between the local and the online data? As you saw when I ran that scan, it ran very, very quickly. If I were to go back and do another one using online data, it would probably take probably double the time. So it is better if you're doing a lot of scanning, especially if you're an end-of-day user. I always recommend to download your data and set up your data files. That way it just makes it a lot easier to read. So you'll see on here where you have like bull bars, bear bars, bull stop, etc. And then you have this value in the column there. What that means is what wave it is and how long ago it happened. So this was wave 2, which happened 13 bars ago. And this is wave 1, which again happened 13 bars ago. So the one you want to look for probably is one that has just barely occurred. For example, say like wave 1 and it's just happened. So let's just double click and open that chart. And then I'll just minimize this. And it looks like it happened within the last couple bars, so let's just double check the chart here. So, yep, right here. So we had a wave 1, and I'm trying to see. Yeah, so that was our wave. Oh, I'm sorry. There's actually a faint 1 right here. So this is the one that just happened a couple bars ago. So that's the one that's starting to complete, or has completed wave 1, and next is coming a wave 2. So just a nice little way that you can go in and scan the market to find those different waves and patterns in the market. This actually brings up a good point. This is what I was actually trying to show you earlier on these corrective waves. You see these dark numbers on here. You have like a 2 and 3, and it'll say like which wave it is. So these are your long-term waves. So that one was your second wave of long-term. Here we go. So I just want to make sure that I'm explaining this right. So you have like your 2 right here, and then there's another 2. This one hasn't actually reached it never did complete a third wave, so that one kind of canceled itself out. But here's your 2, there's a 3, and then you've got your 4. And if you notice, these are really long-term waves. I mean, that was from December until September was the last time that happened. So those are really big moves. And those are your longer term. So if you're a long-term investor, maybe you like to invest in different ETFs and funds and stuff like that, that would be a good system to use for those longer-term waves, so you can tell and see where they're going and what side you need to be on with your investing. But then you have those shorter waves, the ones that you can kind of see that are a little more faint. You've got 3s and 4s and 5s, and then you've got right here your A, B, and C, etc. Again, a new addition to MetaStock, Elliott Wave analysis. For those that are Elliott Wave traders and would like to learn Elliott Waves, is a great little tool. And also those that are already advanced users of Elliott Waves, this is also something that's really nice. So let's go ahead and close this out. So we're kind of talked about all this. There's just some more examples, and it shows you the directional wave, corrective wave. And this is kind of what I was trying to show you on the chart, where you got those kind of solid numbers, the circles, the numbers with circles on them that kind of filled in. They're really bright on the chart. Just another example. So you can just kind of flip through all these. Let's get to the last little bit, and it's our Martin Pring program. Just want to get to that spot first. Okay, so Martin Pring is pretty well known out there. Most people know who Martin Pring is, but he's been in the market since the 70s. But he basically founded Pring Research, which is also a financial firm, back in 1981. He began providing research and for financial institutions. Just kind of how I put here, he's been trading since 1984. He's published a bunch of market overviews and has a bunch of books as well. So he actually has or was the chairman of Pring Turner Capital Group as well, so that was a money management firm. But he created a little add-on that he called Special K, and we used to sell this for $300, and we've just included it inside of MetaStock now. So if you know of Martin Pring or want to kind of learn a little bit more about him, a lot of people are actually buying MetaStock 17 purely for the Elliott Waves system and Martin Prings. So there's a lot in 17 that can provide a lot of value too. So there's an indicator inside of MetaStock that's called KST, and what Martin Pring named that as is know for sure. Know which side of the market you're going to be on. Know the type of trade that you're going to take. And those kinds of things. It was based on a momentum, also based on rate of change as well. But all that did is, and it also uses I can't remember the parameters, but it uses a signal line of a moving average of the KST. So here's just a little example of the KST. Again, this one is already inside of MetaStock. You don't have to have 17 to do this. You didn't have to purchase this add-on if you had an earlier version to accomplish that. That's already something inside of MetaStock. So what the Special K does is he has an short-term, intermediate, and primary trend. So as you can tell by this little graph here, your primary trend is for your longer-term trading, like 9 months to 2 years. And then you've got your intermediate, which is kind of weeks, 2 months. So that's your intermediate, or like your semi-long-term, I would still call it. And then you've got your short-term, which is 2 to 6 weeks. So if you're a swing trader, this is a great little add-on to MetaStock. So again, what he does is he combines inside the Special K, and combines the short, intermediate, and the primary trend. So basically your long-term, your short-term, and the intermediate term types of trading. And then he uses the short-term in change of direction. It's a very unique indicator like I put on that graph. It's anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. So let's look at this inside of MetaStock. Let's go ahead and just close all of these charts. So this is that message I was talking about earlier, where before inside of 16 and 15, etc., you had to come over here and click no to each chart individually. So I've got a bunch of charts open, so now I just do no to all, and it closes, and it goes through and closes each one individually. It takes a minute to close because it's got Elliott Waves attached to the charts, so it takes it a little bit on this scenario. So I'm just waiting for that. So now you're back to blank page. Come back over to the Power Console. We'll go to Chart, and since I've been using the diamond, I'll just keep using that. And then inside of MetaStock, come down here to Special K, I think is how it's listed. Yes, so you have a weekly and a daily. Again, this is more swing trading, position trading. This is probably not the best system for day trading, or if you do intraday, probably not the best system to use. I'd probably use the Elliott Wave or something else inside of MetaStock. Maybe you have an add-on that you like a little more. But this is great because it actually will identify the signals and kind of color the chart. Let's do the primary trend. Okay, so let's actually, I'm going to load a little bit more data on here. I could use this if I want. It's fine. I'm going to change this from a line to candlesticks, a little bit easier for me to look at. So what this all identifies is when the trend or the Special K is above or below its signal line right here. This is that moving average line that I mentioned based on momentum. That's when it will identify a buy or sell signal, or being bullish or bearish, depending on which side of the market you need to be on. So this one's crossing below, so then you need that one's, the KST is crossing below the moving average, and so is the Special K. So you want to be in a downtrend or in the bullish, bearish. And then on the flip side, come over here to this one in particular. It's rising above the moving average, and it's crossed above right there. So that's why it's painted the candlesticks green. And then it goes in and actually gives you a little more information. Bear in mind the primary trend is bearish because the Special K is below the moving average, and so on and so forth. It's a great little add-on, and it's very nice for scanning. I don't believe it does have any back testing, but let me just open up one other thing. I want to double check something. Yeah, okay. I just need to load more data. Alright, that's fine. So that's just the example I wanted to give with the Special K. So let's come over here to the Explorer, and we'll uncheck the Elliott Wave, and we'll come down to Special K. I just want to show you how you can scan on all this. and how this could be applied to your trading style. So he has 4 different scans in here. He's got the KST max sell primary bear, so that's using the primary trend, the one that's more longer term. And then you've got the primary bull, again, on the other side of the market. And then you have your buy and your sell. I honestly only use these buy-sell ones. So then we'll just do the primary buy in this case. And then, since we're not using a bunch of calculations with the Martin Pring, let's actually use the online data. I was in where I want to be. So let's just grab the NASDAQ, for example. And then we'll do start exploration. You'll see how it is a little slower when running explorations using online data. It's not too slow because my list isn't that big, and the Martin Pring isn't doing a ton of calculations, whereas the Elliott Wave, it has so many calculations that it does in the background. So what I always want to look for with this is if you can filter it based on the special K moving average, which is probably what I would pay more attention to because that's what identifies the signals on the chart. But if you want to look at like the special K -1 or -2, you can do that as well. And it does explain what all this means inside the manual. So once you get 17, you should also have the manual in the download page as well. So we'll just zoom in here a little bit. Just apply the primary trend. And then you can see right here, this is giving you the bullish position, and it colored the line green to identify that it's going to be a buy signal, basically. But you can kind of match them up. You can see right here where it crosses above its moving average, and that's why it's in a bullish position or bearish, if you're on the other side of the coin. Right here, it crossed below its moving average, so the momentum was decreasing, and that's why you should be bearish. It's not a perfect system, but it is a nice little system if you're a swing trader. A lot of my guys that have purchased 17 really like this addition to MetaStock. So that's kind of in a nutshell, the special K. It's a really neat little add-on. As you can tell, we've added a ton of stuff to MetaStock 17. So just kind of recapping what we have here, we've added that QuoteCenter, the OptionScope for options traders. If you use anything outside of MetaStock and want to use our data files for other charting packages, you can now do that inside of the new downloader for 17. Automatic symbol updates, pre-post market data, 14 enhanced usability, those things that are making the using of MetaStock a lot faster and easier. So that's in a nutshell what MetaStock 17 does. So kind of like the value or the offers that we have going on right now, you can upgrade if you want for end of day users. For 16, you can actually upgrade for just $149 if you're a current 16 end of day user, $249 if you're a current $249 if you're a 15 user. That's for MetaStock end of day. You do get our training book and videos, the Unleash the Power of MetaStock, that goes over in detail a lot more than what I'm able to explain in this webinar. The new features and how to apply those to your trading. For people that are on real time, you can upgrade for 16 just $229 and $329 for 15 and below. So if you're on MetaStock real time 15, 14, 13, even 11, you can upgrade for just that $329 price. This is for those that only attended the webinar. So if you haven't upgraded yet and want to take advantage of that price, definitely give me a call. I will actually put my number and contact information here at the end. Now, if you're a new customer and you want to purchase, we're actually doing a really good sale right now as well. So you can get it for $399 for end of day users or $11.95 for real time. So, and then again, that applies to anybody that is a new customer of MetaStock. So definitely let me know. We can always go over your different options, what you want. Actually in the chat, Greg, did you already put my contact information in there?
On the YouTube side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, we'll also be able to view the recording if you missed it. It'll be available on our YouTube page after the webinar as well. So for anybody that did miss it, you can go through the recording as well. Just trying to think if I have anything else. I think that is all that I have. So I do appreciate everybody joining us today. Greg, are there any questions on the YouTube site?
No, sir. Vincenzo says amazing regarding the Elliott Waves scanner. Steve Luciano also seemed pretty interested in Elliott Waves, but currently no questions.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks everyone for your time today. Thanks for joining us for our nice presentation on MetaStock 17. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day.